Hello friends, like every quarter we just got our hands on the brand new 13F filings from our favorite super investors. So now we know what stocks they bought and sold in Q1 2024. And today we will take a closer look at some interesting moves from such investors as Charlie Munger, or rather Daily Journal without Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Guy Spier, Mohnish Pabrai, Terry Smith, Howard Marks, Seth Klarman, Chuck Akre and Bill Ackman. And there are a lot of changes in all those portfolios. But first, let's take a look at the big picture and see what were the top 10 stocks that super investors bought last quarter. 10th stock with the highest number of buyers in the last quarter was Starbucks, which we recently analyzed on our channel. 5 super investors bought it, and since last quarter the price went down by 17.1%. That is something we should be looking for as an idea or possibility. We know that certain super investors believed it was a buy even when the price was significantly higher. Of course, it does not mean we should buy such companies, but maybe we should spend some more time analyzing them. At number 9, we have Wesco International, which is a multinational electrical distribution and services company. 5 super investors bought this company, and since then the price went up by 8.8%. At number 8, we see Adobe. 5 super investors bought it, and since last quarter the price went down by 3.8%. So another stock that went down after it was bought by super investors. 7th most bought stock was Zoetis, which is the world's largest producer of medicine and vaccinations for pets and livestock. 5 super investors bought this company, and since the end of Q1 2024, the price went up by 2.4%. 6th place goes to Alibaba. 5 super investors bought it, and since then the price went up by 12.6%. At number 5, we have United Health Group. 6 super investors bought it, and since last quarter the price went up by 2.7%. 4th is Microsoft. Also 6 super investors bought this company, and since then the price went up by 0.7%, so no meaningful change here. 3rd most bought stock is Apple. 6 super investors bought it, and since the end of Q1 2024 the price went up by 13.7%. 2nd place goes to Charter Communications. 6 super investors bought this company, and since last quarter the price went down by 8.8%. What is very interesting is that it was the 4th most bought stock in Q4 2023, and even then the price was going down. So super investors are buying more and more of this stock, and the price is going down all the time. This could be an interesting investment opportunity. And the stock with the highest number of buyers in the last quarter is Alphabet. 7 super investors bought it, and since then the price went up by 15.3%. Okay, so now that we saw the big picture, let's take a closer look at some transactions that caught my attention. Of course, Charlie Munger is no longer with us, but it is very interesting to see what is Daily Journal doing after Charlie passed away. Well, they are selling everything. And it is going to be also interesting to see what will happen in the next quarter. Will they decide to get rid of all the investments? Will they just trim them? Or will they change the strategy and invest in different companies? And in the last quarter, they sold 11.2% of their investment in Wells Fargo. Bank of America position was reduced by 13%, US Bancorp was reduced by 14.6%, and Alibaba position got reduced by 35%. So some big moves for the entire portfolio. Last quarter, Warren Buffett added 62.1% to his Liberty Sirius XM Series A position and 51.6% to the same company, but Series C shares. He also added almost 29% to Chubb Limited, which is a global provider of insurance products, and he keeps on building his Occidental Petroleum position. This time he added 1.7% to it. He also made a number of sale transactions, but there were two of them that really caught my attention. The first one was, of course, a 12.8% reduction of his Apple position. At the annual meeting, he said that he believes that at the end of the year, Apple is still going to be his biggest position. So he will probably continue to sell, but not on a huge scale. And he also exited his Hewlett-Packard position. During my analysis of this company a few months ago, I was saying that it looks like he is trying to exit this position completely, and that is what we are seeing right now. And Buffett definitely lost money on this investment. Guy Spier is considered by many as the master of doing nothing. Last time he made a change to his US stock portfolio was in Q2 2022, so almost 2 years ago. Of course, he is probably making some investments outside the US and they do not show up on his 13F filings, but that is just speculation. Anyway, he finally made a change to his US investments. He reduced his position in Ferrari by 25%. Right now, it makes up 9.99% of his portfolio. And this investment is a 10x for him. He got his shares when Ferrari was spun off from Stellantis, which we are going to analyze next week. And believe me, you don't want to miss it. So if you haven't already, subscribe and click the bell icon to receive notifications. So when he got the shares of Ferrari, the price was around $41. And last quarter, the price was closer to $435. Not bad. Mohnish Pabrai made changes to all of his US positions last quarter. He added 2.5% to Alpha Metallurgical Resources. He sold less than 1% of his investment in Consol Energy. He reduced his position in Warrior Met Coal by over 25%. And he also reduced his Arch Resources position by over 40%. And he talks a lot about long-term patient investing, but actually, when we look at his actions, we see that he is making changes every quarter. A year ago, he didn't own any of those 4 companies. His portfolio was totally different. But of course, we only see the fraction of his investments because we know that most of his money is in India, Turkey, and probably some other companies. So it's really hard to make any meaningful observations. Terry Smith made a lot of transactions in the last quarter, but the ones that stood out to me are a buy transaction of Texas Instruments, and straight away it is getting close to 1% of his portfolio, and a buy transaction of Choice Hotels, which is somewhere close to 0.5% of his portfolio. Also, he added almost 20% to his position in Apple, but last quarter he was mainly selling. He reduced 30 positions in his portfolio, including companies like Google, Meta, Visa, Philip Morris, Microsoft, PepsiCo, and he also sold completely IPG Photonics, which is a manufacturer of fiber lasers. And he closed his position in Johnson & Johnson, which he held for many, many years. Howard Marks added to 13 of his positions, including 22.5% to Valet and almost 16% to Azul, which is a company with the largest Java engineering team after Oracle. He also added 7% to Petrobras. And we see 13 new stocks in his portfolio, including companies like Indivior, which is a pharmaceutical business, Eagle Bulk Shipping, which he actually owned for many years but sold in Q2 2023. Baidu, which is a Chinese technology company specializing in internet-related services, or Yum China Holdings, which is a fast food restaurant company. Now, let's see, what did he sell? Well, he reduced 9 positions, but he completely sold 23 companies, including Infosys, FTAI Aviation, or Liberty Global. So a lot of changes, and we see mainly sale transactions. Seth Klarman added 33.6% to Herbalife, 20% to Clarivate, and just 0.3% to Google. But he also bought 5 new stocks, and the biggest new position in the portfolio is Eagle Materials, which is an American producer of building materials based in Dallas. He also reduced Warner Bros. Discovery by 85.3%, and his investment in Liberty Sirius XM got slashed by around 70%. He also closed 7 of his positions, including companies like Tower Semiconductor, Liberty Media Corporation, and SS&C Technologies, which is a holding company that sells software and software as a service to the financial services industry. It definitely looks like a trend that most of investors are mainly selling last quarter. And on one hand, they may be just taking advantage of the elevated prices. But on the other hand, they may be gathering cash because they believe that the prices are going to change pretty soon and they want to be ready to take advantage of such changes. Chuck Akre is also mainly selling. He reduced his position in Brookfield Asset Management by 98.2%, Dollar Tree got cut by 89.7%, but also companies like MasterCard, Visa, or Moody's got reduced by around 7 to 9%. He also bought 2 new companies, CCC Intelligent Solutions Holdings, which is a provider of cloud, mobile, AI, and telemetrics technologies and applications, and he also added Uber. Bill Ackman made only 2 changes to his portfolio in the last quarter. He reduced his position in Chipotle Mexican Grill by 9.8%, and we analyzed this company just a few weeks ago, and he sold completely his shares of Lowe's. So, similar to a lot of other investors, he is probably gathering cash. Well, if I were to sum up this last quarter, I would say a lot of changes, and it is quite clear that super investors were mainly selling. And that can indicate a number of things. But the obvious conclusions are that stocks are currently overvalued and super investors prefer to hold cash. Now, is it because they can get around 5% from risk-free bonds? Or is it because they can see a crash coming and they want to have the capital to invest at the lower prices? Is a different question. Now, if you would like to learn more about the portfolio structure and history of some of those super investors, then you can check out my analysis of those portfolios. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.